I am Eon, and it's time to look ahead at July 2025 sci-fi releases. First up, we're going to start with Across the Realms. Across the Realms for the month of July is doing some, well, actually, we don't know just yet, but we do know they're doing a Frontier on July 4th. So go sign up on My Mini Factory's Frontiers for these Battle Nuns, and you can get a couple of sample miniatures added to your library for free. Admiral Apocalypse hasn't really given us any previews yet, but we do know the roadmap for July is saying Volcano. So we'll look and see what that looks like pretty soon. Anvil Digital Forge has Unity Marine Corps, the UMC Infantry. Just to give you a few options of how you can build these models. Arcane Whiskers has given us a little bit of preview art. It looks like some sort of measuring device, actually. So maybe some sort of game aid? Battlecat Miniatures has a Kickstarter, I believe, not a Frontier, but it might be a Frontier. British Army of the Peninsular War, that they are going to be releasing on July 1st, so very soon after I post this. Beyond Space took the month of June off, but they're coming back in July with The Arbiter. The Verdict is Flame, Revelation 5. And just to show how it would look on their gaming table, Claudio Casini Art usually has at least one sci-fi model a month, and this is no different. Here we see the Android Raider. Cyberforge has put out their preview for their release. For Grim Realms, we're continuing with Legion of Decay. There's a Sistwing drone. Just me, or those guys look kind of like minions from Despicable Me. These are called Bilings. And here's the Prince of Decay. Not exactly sure where his face is. Lords of Flies. Now, this is the Ulcer Lord. Here's the Holy Ulcer. And you can see how I guess that's part of him and they have to support it. Wow, okay. I don't... Okay. Dakka Dakka. Here's a release of everything you'll be getting. We'll look at what they put out as previews. Here's Abatisa Elvira Vespertilian and Maidens of Vengeance. Ah, Vengeance, eh? Maidens of Presidium. Chained Bloodbearers. Satellitium Ranged Squad, and King of the Great Harvest. I believe that is their Titan miniature. Very nice looking model. And Zartal One Blade. Edge Miniatures has given us a little bit of a preview. We're going to be continuing with Cursed Elves on the 8mm range, and Tech Pirates and Skyborn Empire for the 28mm range. Really fleshing these armies out over the months. Forbidden Prince has Sector 33. So quite the setup to build your own little city. There's some of the measurements. It's nice to see that everything is in increments of 3. So might be worth picking up for any of you that are Dead Zone fans for the month of July. Yes, I know there's lots of other options out there, but what's wrong with more options? And it's really cool to see how all these models go together. I could see this being used for Infinity, Dead Zone, as I said, and other games in general too. Now, I did want to include this from my fantasy video. I put this in fantasy, but then I realized some of those people are holding pistols. These are like elven towers, and my assumption at the time was that these were fantasy releases. But, you know, these could work for Eldar or Asterians or any of those, depending on what world, what game and mechanic you play in. Ghamak hasn't really given us any previews for Sci-Fi, so here is the Sci-Fi timeline. Notice that in July we'll be doing Voltarak, Corrupted Guard, and Knights of the Temple. And we'll be doing the same thing in August. M3 Dicion has put out this preview image. You'll notice on the right that we have some like robots and pretty cool big mech up there, as well as a texture roller and some heads for some characters that have sword and shield, which are probably more fantasy based, but you know, they could be sci-fi too. KMFP Designs haven't given us any previews, but they have given us this list of what to expect in July. So it looks like 4 releases for each of these armies. Kyoushuneko Miniatures has not given us any preview renders, but has given us some inspiration palettes. So here's the post-apocalyptic Russian mercenary and Desert Sikh Raiders officer kit. German Light Spider Walker, German Heavy Exo Unit, and German Falcon Infantry. I think it's supposed to be like a alternative take on Germany. Like a alternative timeline or something. Loot Studios is going to be doing Neon Runners. So here's a Cyber Beast Gorilla Man. Asimov, a Scrapped Lawman. Foxy, the Rogue Cyber Beast. And we're only looking at a few of these. Natasha, the Freerunner. I kind of like the cyberpunk looks. These are the types of things that keeps me in Loot Studios sci-fi. And a Derelict Rooftop. So kind of fits with the Forbidden Prince terrain. Mantic Vault has only put out the overview image that we see here. So not so much on the left, but on the right we have a complete mule. And there's also the hospital terrain crate terrain. Marchen Atelier has continued to give our previews, and thanks for watching my videos, sir. We have here from Katzen Damerong, Ma Masha, the Privateer Brigade Sabotage Rust Bunker. There's a lot going on in that model. This is Norman D. Wolf, Privateer Brigade Hero Miniature. So a wolf, I think up until now we've seen mostly cats, have we not, or felines. So I was kind of surprised to see that, but I'm looking forward to it. And here we see Napoleon Invictus, Privateer Brigade Hero Miniature. So a pug. So we have not only wolves, but also dogs in this world too. Really interested in the lore of this world. Mr. Modulork has a teaser video on his Patreon, so please go check that out. But here's a couple of images from that. I really love the fact that they've gone through and done the animation of this. So apparently for July, it's going to be Mecha July. Pretty excited about that. One Page Rules has given us the previews. We're continuing with Orc Marauders. The Battle Chief is a veteran. I believe this is the Battle Chief. There's also several jump packs. So Jump Pack Leader and Jump Pack Orcs aren't afraid of a little height. And then we have the Ultra Veterans. And the Great Battle Truck. Wow, that is very wide, very impressive. And this figure is actually, I would thought that it was a fantasy release, but I believe this is for the Grimdark Future Star Quest, the Blessed Sisters Ritualist. She's a devotee of the psychic arts, pulling from the void a burning and cleansing fire to envelop and burn away the sins of the unworthy. Okay. Papsikels has given us a look at UPP Space Operating Forces Squad Leader AA83 SYEEM. That's a mouthful. Union Armed Forces Progressive People SOF. Grendel King Clan Leader, Warlord Skull Hunter. So Predator-inspired things. Viking Killer Skull Hunter. Apparently Viking means that their right hand is, well, like Mega Man? Yeah, let's go with that. Samurai Killer Skull Hunters. And there are several sculpts of these, but again, this being a preview, we won't look at them all just yet. Here we have the reptile-like xenomorph natural predator. And as you can tell, they come in several sculpts from 7 down to 1. Xeno bursters and prowlers. And then, Papsikels, you have not disappointed me. The Independent Construct Purifier Sentinels. I may be wrong, and if I'm wrong, please correct me, but I believe these are inspired by the Protoss. Print Minis has given us some preview art, or renders. Let's take a look. Of course, we have to have some bases, correct? Printed Legends has put out this image preview, Void Parasite. Again, I said it in my fantasy video. I'm not sure if this is fantasy or sci-fi. I could see it in either place, so we'll put it in both. Rizzenvoth has put out this preview of Legionnaire's melee kit. Sorry, I was checking my pronunciation. Legionaries? RPG Figures has a very interesting model this month. This is T4OR Custom Office Robot. Inspired by the iconic robots with a dash of golden protocol flair. This quirky and retro-futuristic automaton blends bureaucratic dysfunction with battlefield charm. Sir Nicholas Miniatures, again, I'm never exactly sure where to put them. This is the Glacian Army. They all appear to be fantasy-oriented, but I could see these being used in Trench Crusade. So we'll include them here in the sci-fi video. Skullforge Studios has not put out a preview yet, but I did want to give them a shout out and make sure that you were aware of this Humble Bundle where you can pick up some of their models. I think this is done in conjunction with Miniac, so definitely worth checking out and getting a pretty decent price for some high-quality miniatures. Skullforge Studios has given us some sneak peeks. I do believe these are more renders of those, but I might be wrong. Trader's Galaxy is showing us Bot War Ancients and Retro. As well as Retro Robot RR41. I would imagine he's a smaller robot. Txarli Factory does a sci-fi release and a fantasy release every month. Here's the sci-fi, some basically damaged and crashed tanks. I do like the fact that they have a sampling of tanks. Some with missiles. I hope those missiles aren't still live. And various types of weapons. UGLYminis was recommended to me, and the July release preview is the Raptari Army Part 2. Unit 9 is doing Bomber Girls for the month of July. Here we see Yara Bel Kuznetsova. Here's Rico Hex Vaughn. Mantis EX9. Some sort of like carrier helicopter sort. And a Blast Doll. Better name? Wargames Atlantic has previewed a few sci-fi releases. These are the Sneak Feet Highlanders. Ura Heavily Armored Breachers. And Ura Sniper Team. Well, folks, that's a preview of what's coming to us in the month of July 2025 from several 3D creators, Patreons, tribes, etc. We're going to come back and look at this in a few days, hopefully, and see in more detail what we're actually getting in July. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.